Test. 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 Hey. Hey everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called the Godkiller. I'm going to demo it in just a moment. I'm going to demo some recent work. And yeah. I don't feel like talking that much today. I just kind of want to get right into it. But I'm sure that'll change. I'll warm up a little bit and then I'll start talking to absolutely nobody. And yeah, the crazy man instinct in me is strong to talk to myself or to imagine that someone is listening to me, which is what internet media is perfect for. Imagining someone is listening to you and talking. So let's take a look. I'm going to do a demo and then I'm going to do work. Always I start with a demo. All these videos I just show what was done most recently. And let me update the screen. For whatever reason, it's not updating. Okay, there we go. Took a little while. Got a really deluxe broadcasting setup over here that I'm kind of proud of. My big insight was to have one dedicated machine just for broadcasting, and it's got all the video encoding stuff and everything on it. It's got the microphone hooked up to it, and then a second system is my workstation I actually use to do the work, and that beams over the image via AirPlay over to the broadcasting system, which sends that all out. And it's been good. It's been a nice way to handle things. So let's demo. Demoing is what we're going to do. This is level 1, what you're going to see. First level, also named Paradise. Wait a minute, I hit play, right? Yeah, okay. This takes a little while. So I've got the player-controlled character starting closer to the area that I just got done modeling, just so I don't have to go through the whole level to play test it. But just to show things that are new, I guess this is 2 days old, this whole business over here. Oh yeah, I did fix something over here where it was showing floor instead of wall. So this green pattern is wall. The lighter color is floor. And there's a design rule, which is that whenever you see a floor surface, it is possible to get to it. And I don't want to break that rule. I think it's a good rule. So even here, you see far, far below, there is a floor surface. And that should put something in your brain. Oh, I could get to that. That's definitely an area I could get to, right? So in order for me to have that idea occur to the player, I have to be consistent. And that meant that over here where I had an unreachable area that had a floor tile, I needed to change it to be a wall tile. Big explanation for a little thing, but there we go. Alright. So I did a little work in this pillar area 2 days ago. It looks nicer than it did. Basically the bottom part of it I filled in, which it's interesting. It would seem like you don't need it. Like if you look down, you just can't see much down there. But before, when there wasn't like stuff underneath that was connecting to the bottoms of the pillars, it looked like the pillars were just floating. And I don't know, it wasn't a good look. It didn't make it seem like the whole thing was put together and in a realistic way. Look very computery. And so now there's a few that don't have anything underneath them, but it's not so many. So a few that are like that just look like not lazy, but they look maybe intentional. It looks like an interesting part of the design. But when they were all floating, they looked bad. Okay, so here's the arena, which is a new area. And it's got a drop-down point, which serves as a kind of like a one-way passage. Once you drop down, there's no way to get back up there. There's this guy here named Billy, and you kind of get taunted into fighting him by God. God floats up above you and says, you must push Billy, push Billy, push Billy. So then you push Billy. Billy's like saying, no, don't push me, don't push me. You push him, and he starts running away. And God tells you, chase him, push him again, get him against a corner, stuff like that. He's egging you on. And Billy's just trying to hide from you. And this is the first time in the game that the player actually deals with an opponent of any kind. And the stepping mechanic is not that intuitive to most game players. It's everything else moves after you move. So even though this guy's running away from me, he's not going to take a step until I take a step. So I figured this introduction of that is already kind of challenging for the player. I don't want this to be a hard puzzle to get past. So I made the level such that most people just kind of experimenting a little bit will get Billy trapped in one of these corners. And first I started with just one of them. And I thought, no, I really want to make it simple for the player. So I added 3 different places where Billy can get trapped. And there was like a little bit of a balance to sort out, because originally I had a corner here where Billy could get trapped in. But you would immediately end up driving him there and killing him like before you understood the basics of movement that this area is supposed to introduce you to. So you should give the player something to fiddle around with. And then if all you do is just chase Billy, he'll go in circles like this if you happen to pick that route. But as long as you do something which breaks up that pattern, which any player is going to do. So if I say I go this way, then I could follow behind him again. I'm just kind of experimenting without any strategy to it. I think I'm pretty much not guaranteed, but almost any player is going to succeed in getting Billy into a corner, and then you push against him. And God is egging you on the whole time and being very clear about what your goal is. What your goal is. So that's the demo. What am I going to do next? First, I'm going to fix a bug. I've been trying to be pretty good about, as soon as I see a bug, instead of working on like whatever the thing is that's on my mind, I'll stop and fix the bug. So I just don't want them to creep up on me and end up having a lot of them and end up not finding larger problems that might need to be solved that would be inefficient to come back to later. So I just want to clean as I go. I was gonna say. I was gonna say. I was gonna have a no broken windows policy. It was a bad time to be spouting stuff like that, though, because there's a whole thing, a whole history that goes behind that. So, like, that concept is actually a pretty good concept, just not for the thing it was applied to, but kind of like a metaphor that you can apply to many different types of problems. So the history behind the phrase relates to a policing policy. I forget what city it was in, but there was like some order from the mayor, I think it was New York maybe, that said no broken windows policy, meaning if there's like vandalism, if there's a broken window, if there's any small thing wrong in the neighborhood, you fix it. And the idea is that if you take care of all the little petty, small, trifling crimes, people's attitudes will change, and they won't. They'll be less likely to engage in more ambitious crimes. Now that policy was not chosen well in that point in time. I'm not going to go into why, but there's kind of like systematic racism mixed in there with it. So, anyways, so I was going to use that phrase, and then I stopped myself, and then I'm like sort of like double taking, because then I think, well, God damn it! I mean, it's a good phrase, it's a good concept. Just because one person in history used it poorly, does it mean that every other place that you might invoke that concept has to be loaded with the bad judgment and maybe bad motives of other people? And maybe some phrases are like that too. Maybe some are. But I'm reluctant to give up a good concept for general human use. Yeah. Tell you another thing. I've made quite a few grid-based levels that just kind of accidentally had swastikas in them. It's if you go for symmetry and you start making a curve or a tine, and then you end up just repeating it, swastikas pop up. And I've even had like one or two really good levels that were this like sort of grid-based thing, and there was like a swastika pattern in it, and I had to sort of fix it so there's no swastika in it. So Nazis ruined a perfectly good shape, although there is like the reverse one, or maybe it's not the reverse one, maybe the Nazi one is the reverse one. Anyways. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to fix a bug. The bug is that this door over here is not closing all the way. The rules of it are that if I've got some blocks someplace, any place in the level, that spell the same word that's on the gate will be closed. And it kind of worked. It only closed the top two letters though, and I don't understand why. So I'll just debug that. Alright, let's just close a bunch of these. I don't need them all. Now I've got a more interesting task after I fix this bug, but I don't want to commit to it until I'm pretty confident I can fix this bug without taking up a lot of time. Okay, so we go mail. Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna do a git commit. Git status. Oh boy, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, before I forget about it, I wrote some code here that was worthless. It seemed like it might do something good for me, but it did not. And I don't like to have dead code laying around, so let's just yoink it. Get rid of it. If I need to go back to it, I can go back via git. See if I screwed up anything there. Okay, that's fine. So let's see, git commit a delete prefab fixer. It was not working. Alright. Take off socks. I've strategically placed the webcam so that nobody can see my terrible hair. It's all up above the camera. Didn't do it on purpose. I did not do that on purpose, actually. That's just I'm using the camera that's connected to a monitor, and that's the angle of the monitor that I like. So let me see. Where is this thing? It's going to be under logic, I think. I had some kind of code that would run each time you pressed a key. Guessing that's this block util. So it might be in here. It's failing. I'll just try that out. All right. it's initializing all the letter gates. And I need to start making my ad hoc assertions. Let's see, how many letter gate pieces do I expect for there to be? Expect there to be a lot. So there's that one giant letter gate on the other side of the level. That's probably the win gate is 3 by 9. Is that right? It's win plus 4 on either side, so that's 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, so 30 for the win gate. For the apple gate, there should be 5. So I think 35 pieces is what I'm expecting. How many do I actually get? Oh, a little bit more. Maybe I was off by 1. But not less. So it's probably the right amount. It's probably the correct amount. I don't mind double checking it. Let's see. Okay, this one goes to the apple gate. So the very first one is the topmost of the apple gate. P. Okay, might as well check these out because it's not too hard to take a quick look here. Okay, then E. So that may be just out of order in the sequence, but not necessarily causing a problem. Okay, then there's one that's got a space. It's facing a different direction. So the ones that are facing they're facing west are probably all going to be the apple gate. The ones that are facing north are probably all going to be the wind gate. And there's like at least 30, I think there's maybe 33. Okay, good enough for now. First one, I think it is. I think it is going to be the first letter gate because it's got right at the top. Yep. Okay. So delta should be 0, 0, negative 1. Yep. That means down. The gate goes down. Some can go horizontally, south or east. Horizontally is the wrong word, but basically the 3 directions it could possibly go and still be the first letter gate would be down, south or east. Okay, so now what's it doing? It's going to match. Okay, so it's going to keep going until it finds no letter gate block in square or the letter gate block has got a space in it, which means it's just going to be an empty block with no letter on it, which I often put in letter gates to just kind of visually make it look a little bit nicer. I expect this letter should be P. Oops, oh, that's the very first one. Okay, it's A. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Now we'll go to the next. Now I think this one will be P. Yep. It's going to add that. Keep going. P again. No! Ah. Well, here's what I'm thinking now. There's probably an extra block there. There's probably an extra block. That would be consistent with me getting like 33 pieces back instead, or 38 pieces instead of 35. Okay. That's almost certainly it. So I think I just duplicated a block, and as a result, it's not finding the correct letter at that square. So if I take the P here, no, there's nothing there. What the heck, man? I guess let me check the other ones. That's fine. No, there's no block there either. Well, it was a good theory, but it was not correct. Just putting them all back in. Yeah, what to think about that? Okay, let me just check the integrity of all these guys. So that is E offset letter, that's good. I'm checking the position to make sure it's on the integer. Okay. This is the one that could be a problem, but I'm not seeing any problems. Is there like an extra? Let me just redo this just in case. Okay. These all look good though. One other thing, I'll check the Y values on them all. So let's see. This is A. That's starting at 12. The P should be at 11. Yep. Next P should be at 10. Yep. Nine. Okay. Okay, let me do one other thing. If I rename this, then when I'm in the debugger, I can see like which one it's really meant to go to. Okay. So let me check the count. This apple is 5. And then the question is, how many are here? It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So 11 times 3 is 33, 8 plus 5 is 38. So that matches. I should not expect that there's any duplicate blocks anywhere in the level, because it found 38, and that is the right amount. Okay, so what else am I looking for when I go back into the debugger? Possibly it might work. Like maybe in my fiddling, the P was originally off of the integer. Like it could have been 9.001 or something. Possibly. That seems like a long shot. I could set breakpoints on the letter gate discovery script. What that is some code that's used during the level start to create the logical information that represents that game object. I will have to go through a whole bunch of calls to that code, but okay. We shall try it once more and see what transpires. Okay, so which one is this? It's not the one I want. It'd be easier to see the one I want because I renamed those game objects so it would be called things like letter gate A. This is weird. It's just evaluating this. Yeah, don't like that. Huh. What happened? Let's turn off this maximize on play. I can't really see what's going on. Which one? Which one? These fucking warnings. Okay. I just don't. So if I go here, all these are fine. Just, why will you not? It's so terrible that it doesn't give you any way to figure out which object it's talking about. This one does though, so let's see if I can fix that at least. That's fine. Let's remove that. No, because I think it's going to go throughout multiple scenes. Ah, fuck it. I can back up if I have to. I can revert if I have to. Okay. It's hard to fix every problem that comes up as it comes up. There's just so many of them, and they keep distracting me from the things that I actually want to get done. But I think it'll serve me well in the long run. The part where it's particularly annoying is when the warning in question is something benign, or something that's just because of some third-party asset update, or the third-party asset chooses to throw a warning which they really shouldn't have thrown in the first place. I guess when it's not my code that's generating the warning, that's when I get grumpy. This last one down here is ridiculous. This is, in my opinion, a Unity bug, a minor Unity bug. I'm going to see if I have anything new on that question. Nope. So this is all about me figuring out how to get rid of one of the warnings. So there's some code inside of Unity post-processing that says, you know, if the viewport of your camera is not set to full screen, then, oh, don't do that. Fix that, fix that, fix that. But I'm just looking at it inside of the editor. So of course the viewport is not going to be full screen when you're looking at the scene inside of the editor. So I think it's a dumb warning. It actually probably applies to me. It's kind of like saying don't expect it to work right inside of the editor. So that's fine, but I don't want to see that again and again and again. Okay. So Pro Builder finished converting things. Maybe that will help get rid of some of these. So okay, let me see. I want to save. Okay. It's really creepy. I can see like a wasp or a hornet bumping against my outdoor window. And the thing that creeps me out is I don't want it to come inside. That's one thing. But the second thing is I don't want it to find some little nook or cranny in my roof area to start building a nest. So every time I go out and walk around on my roof deck, I'm like looking for spots where some group of stinging insects has decided to build a nest. So I want to nip that in the bud. Being allergic to bee stings, and yeah, don't want them living with me. Okay, so block 7, don't care. 6, 5, 4. I'm looking down at here to see if it matches one of those blocks that I added. So last time there was some kind of error. I think there was an error right there. It didn't find every single one of them, it looked like. Okay. This might be a problem too. No, I really wanted to include Pro Builder. I think I looked at this and it didn't tell me anything useful. Okay. I already looked at this, yeah. Okay, so this bug I should just be patient probably. But I don't think it has to do with the first bug I was looking at. I think it's just instantly coming up. So they should be fixing this in LTS. No, this is not. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm imagining what their process is, and okay. This is my problem with being an engineering manager. Is I start thinking that I understand more things than I do. So just stop with that. No point. So the thing I'm wondering is, why did it only seem to find some of the blocks and not all? If I go down here, it would kind of walk through these blocks. No, it did seem to find those. Also, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, you know why? I was looking at the blocks and not the letter gates. Okay, that's why. That's why. I got my breakpoint in the wrong spot. So this is block discovery, and I want letter gate discovery. That's all. I didn't get rid of the light map thing. I'll have to fiddle around with that some more. Okay. Okay, so there's A. H is at 26. I want to make a quick note. A is CRH 33 45 26. Expected P 25 P2 24 L 23 E 22. Okay. So P is at 25. Good. And same XY or C and R. Okay. Now what's this one? L. Jump to L. L is at 23. Yes. 33 and 45. Yes. Okay. P2. Okay, here's the one I care about. It's at 24. And it's 32 and 32. 32, not 33. $32. $32. So what was the position? Is it? Oh, I'm starting to see it. No? Come on. Those are all integer numbers. So the transform position showing x, y, z integer numbers. Well, the earlier ones might have been off. Well, let me see what the next ones come to. Okay, so this is P2 is what it actually is. I feel like I might have glossed over this part when I looked at it before, so 32, 45, 24. 32 is crazy. Okay. This one's E, and this one is also at 32. Wait a minute. E is at 23. 23. 45. That one I don't understand. So L should have been at 23. I bet I know what it is, and if I'm right, I'm gonna be angry. No, I mean, it's all even integers. That part's fine. Okay, 14, 12, negative 13. P, 14, 11, negative 13. L, 14, 9, negative 13. Oh, look at it. Oh. Let's put the, okay, I might have it now. I might have it. So my new theory is that I ended up moving the offset. So let me just take A. Now, let's assume that it's correct. 14, 12, negative 13. Okay. So P should be 14, 11, negative 13. It is. Okay. P2 should be 14, 10. Nope. It should be, let's see, 14, 12, 14, 11, 14, 10, negative 13. 14, watch this. And it looks like it's in the wrong place, but the parent is in the right place. Okay, and then L should be 14, 9, negative 13. It is. Okay. The last E should be 14, 8, negative 13. It's not. Okay. But the offset I can fix. I think I messed up the offsets. I think that's all it is. That will probably fix it. Okay, how do I fix this annoying warning here? Okay, so 284 objects. I think that'll fix it, to be honest. I'm not that interested in stepping through it. What? Oh, yeah. Where's the light map plus options thing? Tools, Godkiller window. Okay, so that's got light map static. He was saying come look up at here, but I just don't see anything that matches what Gabriel pointed me to. And it's really not fun, the idea of going through all of these. Let me see if I can just... If it's rails, that would kind of make sense, because I just added a whole bunch of rails. And now I'm not seeing that option. Maybe I'm just... Is it in front of me and I'm just missing it? It does kind of make sense it would be Rails, because I didn't see that error until recently, and there's 284 cases of it, which kind of makes sense for Rails. But here's the light map static thing. I come back to this. Mm-hmm. 431. Yeah. All right. So I think that's probably not something that I want to worry about more in this session. I just trying to clean up that junk down there. I just hate having those messages. So let me hit play and okay. There it is. I can see it down there. It's closed. So that fixed it. Let's go this way. Looking solid. It is solid. I can't go through it. Yay, fixed it. Okay. On to the next thing. So I've got two things I could work on. One of them is figuring out some way to make placed objects automatically snap. Another is taking these rails, creating some code that automatically fills them in. So I could say we're starting from here, and maybe I click on this guy. Click a button that just fills it. Maybe better than that though would be a menu option where I say fill in rails, and it looks for every occurrence of a rail and just simply tries to extend the rail as far as it can before it encounters another rail or an obstacle, which are kind of the same thing. How hard is it to make that code for either of those things? Let me just research the first one. Which is I don't even know what the keyword to search for is. Event for new game object in editor. Yeah. Good question. And it was asked in a clear way. I like it. Okay. So let's take a look at these. I think I could do this. I think I could. The thing I want to get is when I take a new object and just drag it down and let go of the button, I don't want it to say a bunch of junky stuff up here. It's not snapped. I don't want it to be decimal numbers out here. I want it to do the same thing that happens when I just move it a little bit. I've got this global thing on here. Let's move it a little bit. It snaps on whichever thing I'm moving against. But it means that every time I place an object, I got to remember to drag it like this. And sometimes it doesn't do the Y. It doesn't snap the Y on the initial placement. So I have one more click to do that. And then I'll forget, or I'll get it a little bit wrong, and it causes a bug that I have to come back and deal with. Get rid of that. So I could make some code that says whenever the hierarchy changes, compare the current hierarchy with the last record of what the hierarchy was to discover which game objects are new. Okay? And of those game objects that are new, I need one other criteria to filter out some of them. What I mean is, if I drop the player object, or if let me put something that's got a little bit of hierarchy to it. Spikes. Okay. So if I drop spikes here, there is a top level object that I want to snap. But there's some objects inside of it I don't want them to snap because they're positioned purposefully not on the snap. See, this is what I was talking about with the Y. Unless I do an extra grab of this, it will not be snapped. So, okay. So if I'm finding new objects that snap should be applied to, I could check if the object is a prefab or not, or if it's a prefab root. If it's a prefab root, then I'll snap it. Otherwise, ignore it. Okay, I think I can do this. I think this is what I'm going to do next. It's a productivity multiplier. Oh, this poor guy, he asked a question and nobody could help him. I want this to run. It's like execute and launch, something like that. Initialize on load. Alright, so my next issue would be creating a data structure that would track which objects are new or not. And I think I can get GUIDs from game objects. Let's see, using I'm forgetting the name of the type of object. What is it? Hash map, hash set. String. Is that right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Snapped quids. I want to say placed quids because I could have it just track everything. And let's have this be so annoying. It's not ambiguous because it's case sensitive. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe is there a system object? Oh, I guess there is. I take it back. Okay, I like that better. I can also do this seems kind of bad. What are you returning? You're returning. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's go game object. It's not really all. It's just some game objects I care about. So we say don't. I could say, do I care about this? Is it persistent? Is it hide flags? I don't know what that is going to be. Say if geo quit. That works for me too. I like it better than a GUID. Yeah, I'm just going to do casting because I don't really think it's better to say that as thing at the end. It doesn't really help me. I wonder if it takes a constructor of yeah. Yeah. I would have to map it though. I don't know. So let's just do this. Yeah, doesn't matter. Come on. For each game object. Okay. Nothing otherwise. Say. Now I could kill two birds with one stone if I say that it's only objects that have the discovery component, because those are always the top level objects. But the walls and floors don't have discovery objects. Alright, I'll stick with my first way. So I'll say if for now, I'm just going to say, no, don't snap anything yet. I don't know. Maybe, let's try it. It feels like I want to step through this. Cool. Okay, this should be like thousands of geos. Yep. Let's see how long this takes. I'm going to step out. That's fast. Okay, so I should have 3,000 something. Yep. Cool. 3304, let's see. And 3308. Fling dots makes sense, I guess. Kinda. I don't know. Alright, let's see what it did. This is another one. I might just have to uninstall this. Or maybe you update it with a newer version. Okay. Fling dots, fling cuts, fling clouds, scene light, scene camera. I don't know why I didn't pick those up earlier. Anyways, the important thing is, what if I add something new? If I throw some spikes there, is it gonna... Wow, it does it even before I let go of the button. It's like 3 hierarchy changes. Let's see what it said. Alright, just one here for the spikes. And then for each of its children, it also called it. It seems also that the scene hierarchy is going to change multiple times when you drop something that's got children in it. Thankfully, it didn't seem too noticeable, the amount of time that it took. And this is only editor code, so I don't mind it being slightly inefficient as long as it doesn't slow me down. Okay, so now I need to figure out my criteria for snapping. So I could say it has to be a prefab. I don't know if that's enough, because I do have some objects that have nested prefabs. I could maybe whitelist this. Instead of saying that there's a general set of properties to use. I could whitelist it by things that I want. Okay, let me figure out this part. Number 1. Is GO a prefab? Number 2. Number 3, whitelist of components. This one I think is actually the best one. So the whitelist would be discovery, floor decorator, wall decorator. I could just do decorator. Could I do decorator? Discovery or decorator. We could try that. That one seems like the best one. Also, I'd kind of like to know, does the hierarchy change? Here, let's just see what the actual criteria are. So another thing I could do, because I think this is going to fire all the time, like for things I don't care about, say, let's debug log. I could whitelist by tags. That's cheaper. Let me see, what does okay, floor is untagged though. take a look at these other things. So like pillar. What are you doing? Is there a reason to use try get component instead of get component? Yeah, alright. Yeah, I don't know if that'll work. So I discovery, can I do that? Oh, maybe I can. Let's just try this for now. What? I think I'm forgetting something kind of basic. Oh. Okay, I think that might do it. Alright, forget this. After I get this working, I'll stop the stream at that point. Okay. So let me take the egg. Ugh. Huh. Two, one. Okay. He said I should snap it, but he didn't snap it. So let's see. I think I might want to wait until that active and editor flag is set. So if I get rid of that. Might as well filter here. Really? So it's not. I need something else that means it hasn't been. been placed in the editor yet. It's still just being dragged. Turn this off. Well, no, don't turn it off yet. I want to make sure it works. Okay. Ooh, it's not doing anything yet. But if I let go, will it work? Look at that. Okay, so that's one type of thing. What about... Alright, so why did spikes work? It's got simple piece discovery, so let's do one that has a decorator on it. Floor. Perfect. Okay, I want to see what that looks like without the debugger. Just kind of drag and drop. Bam. That's what I wanted. Yes. I've got the other snap thing going here. So that totally works. Works quite well. I suppose pillar might not work, because pillar doesn't have a decorator or a discovery interface. The other thing I'd like to do is tie the functionality into this toggle grid. So if that toggle grid's turned off, I won't do any snapping. So let me see if I can get that to go. Unity get toggle grid value. I don't want to add preference sections. I don't want that. Toggle grid API. What is it called up here? Toggle grid snapping. There's a whole bunch of stuff down here. What are the Unity events? So I think I want something from the editor. Editor. A word that gives me trouble. It may not be even exposed though. It may not be something I can even hook into. Just because you see something in the IDE doesn't mean that it's going to be available via API. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that important. It's really not. Yeah, it's just not. It's not important. So let's take this out. Seems to be working. So that's pretty good. If I notice something not snapping, I'll just add it in. Just put it in here. Just keep on putting stuff in here. This is the part that makes this not a very good general purpose snippet, because basically everybody that wanted to implement something like this would have to have some kind of criteria for when they were going to snap an object or not. It would be nice if it was generalizable, but I just don't see a good way to generalize it, particularly when I don't have an event that tells me the new object it's being added in such a way that I can easily see there's one top level object that was added. So I have to go through the hierarchy and figure out for myself which kinds of objects would be the top level objects. I didn't come up with any general rules that applied to everything, so I've got a couple general rules that apply to most, and then a little bit of special casing down here. If I wanted to, I could create like a new convention, like an extra component that they all get, but I don't know. Doesn't seem worth it. This is just some editor code that's going to run, and I don't want to add extra junk to the game objects that might be present at runtime. Alright, so this is probably going to do it. Let me make sure pillars snap for placement. Yes, 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 yes. So this might have seemed like a gold plating type of an exercise, but I've already spent about a half hour fixing bugs that were based on the object not snapping on its initial placement. And there's a multiplier on each object that I place. So if I can just drop this down and boom, snap, I can move right on to the next one. But if I can't, then there's an extra thing where I gotta grab this, kind of move it around a little bit, and grab this guy, move it up and down, and that's multiplied times hundreds of thousands of game objects that I'll have to create as I model all these levels. So getting the things like this right, it is important. I'm gonna delete that. Delete that. I'm pretty happy with that. Right. Save it. Git commit. Okay, well that's a session. If you watch this, thank you. I hope you got something out of it. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to join me live at some point, I'm on almost every day. On the weekdays, I'm on in the Pacific Standard Time evening between 4 and 8 p.m. sometime around there. Anyways, whatever. Stopping stream. Stopping it right now.